in my first area at that border town between the United States and Canada, most of the time there, it was a very slow area. We every once in a while found investigators to teach, but really they didn't progress and so on. So it was kind of annoying for us. But then one day we tracked it into this man by the name of Robert. We contacted him actually using a survey that our mission president developed at the time, which talked about prayer and people's experiences of prayer. And as we were talking to him about it, he told us a really great story about how back when he was in his 20s, he prayed to have his alcoholism taken away from him. And like immediately overnight, it was taken away. And so from there, he spent the next 30 years trying to find the true church. He had been to many different types of churches. His wife and his kids are Catholic, but he never felt comfortable there. And so when we first taught him the gospel, he was willing to open up. I remember one time he mentioned that as he was reading about Joseph Smith's story, that he felt a lot like Joseph Smith, that he'd known that God existed through what he's been through in his life, but he hadn't as of yet found the true church, and he knew that there had to be a true church. And as he was praying and reading and went to church, it was literally within a month that we began teaching him, and then he was baptized. What's crazy is now he's the branch president of the little branch I served over there. It only has 6 members in it, so it's definitely kind of crazy, but by what I've heard from missionaries that I've talked to recently, he's doing phenomenal. As for a more crazy type of story, one of the first areas I've served in when I served in Winnipeg was a city known as Gateway. It's the northern area of the city. This is also the more ghetto area. It's where a lot of crimes happen and a lot of bad things happen, and people avoid going into there if they can. Well, I remember one time me and my companion were driving to go tracting in one of the areas of this region, and we stopped for a second, and this lady waved at us and we waved back, you know, trying to be very polite about it. Turns out she was a prostitute. And so me and my companion, and so when she approached the car door to open it up, my companion hit the gas and we booked it out of there as fast as we could. It was crazy, but I don't know. There are a lot of stories. Let me think of one more. In my last area I served in, which was also in Winnipeg, we were tracting. This was a walking area, and as we were going back from the church to our apartment, it started pouring. Like, literally buckets of water were falling on us, and we hadn't been prepared. It was nice and clear when we first got out, so we're like, okay, whatever, we won't bring a coat. And so just picture us, we were just dressed in our suits and ties and getting drenched. And then while we were doing that, this one guy, random guy, decided to pull over. He asked us to go into his car. It was fortunate because we actually had an appointment we had to go to, and he was going down that area. And as we were talking, we were beginning to teach him about the gospel. It didn't really work out that well, but he did give us his contact info. So it was pretty neat.